What are you doing? How long does it take you to open a package? What's that? Alright. Leave. And that's why I said go upstairs. You sound like a snuffleupagus.
I'm sorry.
Ha ha!
You're so...
Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about gloves in general and mitigating your lead exposure, which is really important to me since most people have really low lead levels, and mine is up here somewhere, which is why I have to avoid indoor ranges now, because my lead levels were really high. And there's things I do to help mitigate that lead exposure now. Just a real quick update. Yeah, the Senate in the state of Connecticut passed all those horrible gun laws. So everything I talked about in the last video is going to be fully implemented within a day or two. Once the governor signs that bill, we're toast. You know, others are gone, pre-bans are gone, things like that. And not like you have to get rid of them, but you're stuck with it. You can't buy more, and you're not going to be able to sell it. So there's that. I'm reaching for a drink. You can notice I had an American flag behind me. It was just sitting over there on the shelf, and I figured instead of looking at my little pegboard behind me, you could look at the American flag, which was a Father's Day gift a couple years ago. So, all right, let's get on with the video. If you guys have questions about the law changes and all that good stuff, put it in the comments below. I'll hit you up. All right. So right off the get-go, I was talking about lead mitigation. So when you're shooting guns, okay, you're going to be atomizing lead, and it's going everywhere. It's all over your clothing, it's on your hands, up in your face. I'm not telling you to wear a face shield or anything like that, but your clothing, your hands, and everything do get covered with this lead. All right, so we want to avoid eating, drinking, smoking, putting our hands and our fingers anywhere near our mouths and our eyes, because that's how the lead's going to be getting into our system. To help cut back on lead exposure, you could wear long sleeve clothing, but I know it's summer's coming up, it's going to be hot, it's humid here in New England, so you know it's got to be a give and a take. But one great thing to really help you out is going to be wearing gloves. Not only are they cutting back on that lead exposure, but they're protecting your hands, and depending on what kind of training you're doing, you're protecting knuckles and your overall, your fingers and all that good stuff. There are a zillion gloves out there. Some will work and some won't. I'm just going to talk about what I like, what I use, because I do use a bunch of them. You guys have seen them in different videos, things like that. But it's a real quick, here's my take on it. You don't have to break the bank. All right, you can get just normal gloves, like these. These are sheepskin leather. You can tell by all the grass on them. These are actually my yard gloves. This is what I use when I'm weed whacking, things like that. Just because there's thorn bushes everywhere, I want something like this. I like the leather because it's durable, it protects me, versus cloth ones get snagged on thorns and things like that. Now, the one thing I don't like about these, when you sweat and it gets hot, your hands turn yellow because of the liner. The other thing is, you can see that these they fit, but they are not, well, not that one, but that's the finger I broke. They are not super tight, all right? So they do shift around a little bit. I prefer ones that are really tight, so when you're holding it, nothing is going to be slipping. There's no wiggle room for your firearm, things like that. I like dexterity, things of that nature too. So these are good for yard work, but if I was going to use these for training, for shooting, I would definitely get a smaller size. Like I said, these are mediums. All right, got them right on Amazon. They're great. I love these things, but I'm not going to use those for shooting. They're too big. I'd go with something a little smaller. And I do use leather gloves for shooting. You don't want to spend that kind of money. You know, if you're at Home Depot, you can get these. You can get a pack of these. These are just little Milwaukee gloves. These are also used for yard work. These are smalls, or I'm sorry, yeah, small to medium. What I like about them is they're tight. It's got good grip. It's pretty durable, but it's thick. These pads. This rubberized stuff is really thick. It works, but I can't work my phone or anything like that. And of course, this material right here tends to get snagged and wear out. So they're good. They breathe. It's not ideal, but if that's all I had, I'd roll with it. Now we're going to get into the more militaristic, I call them militaristic, the more tactical gloves. All right, all of these gloves can be found, you know, at your local Army Navy store. Hell, Amazon has all these gloves, and I'll put all the links below. I'm drinking coffee. All right, first up, now these gloves I've had for probably, I've gone through a lot of them, but I've been using these gloves for 25 plus years, and they are the standard military issue. I think they call them pilot gloves. Everybody in the military uses these. Cloth on the outside. It is fire resistant, heat resistant. It will definitely save your skin. It is gauntlet style. Of course, they are tight. Leather is all good. Good dexterity and everything, but you've got to deal with all of this. So you can always roll them forward, but you've got all this to deal with. I know plenty of guys, when we were active duty, they would cut these down here and then have our PRs roll them over and sew them so it was more in line with just a regular glove. But then when you're wearing them, if you have your sleeves rolled up, there was no protection here, and that's why we use these, because they're fire retardant. All right, I think you can actually buy these online. They are, I think, a company that makes them is One Tac Outdoor Nomex pilot gloves. I've seen them available online. If I can find them, I'll put the link below. They're good. Again, they're fire resistant, not fireproof, but they're chemically treated. Now, if you wash them over time, that fire retarded chemical that's embedded in the cloth does wash out, and it's no longer fire retardant. Okay. Next set of gloves I like, and these are really popular. I've been using them for years, ever since I was active duty, are your standard mechanics gloves. Okay, all the gloves I'm showing you are actually, I think they're all smalls, just because I've got tiny little hands. Mechanics gloves are good, though I do wear these out relatively fast. In fact, the thumb has numerous repairs done to it because I've ripped it at the seam and blown it open, and that's from loading mags and safety switches on and off. It's got the little tabs for you to pull on. You can clip these to your belt, to a recce rig, things of that nature. They are thicker. They'll keep your hands somewhat warm in the winter, but again, they're not winter gloves. You can get winterized ones, but these are good. I've been using them for years. I can operate my cell phone with them, and I have no problem with the dexterity. They're good for what they are, but again, durability wise, you can see they wear out relatively quickly depending how much training you're doing. I've literally ruined a pair of these in a day. So, but they're cheap, as in not like Wish.com cheap, as in like they're relatively inexpensive. You can pick these up anywhere. You can pick them up at AutoZone, off Amazon. Walmart's got them. Everybody under the sun's got them. Now moving up from the mechanics gloves. You want joking. You want something that's a little more expensive, but still not breaking the bank. You got your pig gloves. These right here are the Pig Delta gloves. I've had these for maybe 2 years or so, and they're really durable. I've put them through a lot. They are reinforced with leather. Their cut is nice. Sometimes you get weird cuts to where between the thumb and your index finger, so right in here you'll have like this a bunch of cloth that comes across here, and it feels really like it doesn't fit your hand, like it's not cut for your hand. But all of these really good cuts. They're easy to get on because the wrist area opens up nice and wide, so you can slide your hand in and then use your Velcro to really cinch it down. It does have these, like I said, so when you're moving around, be careful this doesn't get hooked on anything. I would not recommend cutting them off. These are really handy for pulling on your glove, though I have broke these by yanking on them in the past. So overall, I like the pig gloves. All right, Pig Delta are really good. Come in a multitude of colors. I tend to pick the tans and the greens because it's what I like. Alright, so there's a weird break and probably a camera jump because I was right in the middle of recording and the camera died, the battery died. So I had to charge it. So it's actually a couple hours later. Alright, so take a perfect opportunity to stop talking about gloves real quick and let you know that, just in case you guys haven't seen it, there is a link down below for merch. It's a great way to support the channel, helps generate revenue so we can get new gear and all that kinds of stuff. There's a whole bunch of shirts and stickers and everything else available. Click on the link, go shopping, go get something. Let me know if you guys have any ideas, you want to see anything specific. Hopefully, if we get a good enough rating on it, I'll be able to unlock the sleeve design so we can add the American flag to the sleeve and hats and everything else. So with that being said, go get some merch. Some of the designs are pretty awesome. Well, all the designs are awesome, but I do like Liberty or Death. That is probably one of my favorite. Also, of course, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Without further ado, let's continue with the video. So, next set up are, it's kind of they're cliches, as in the brand. It's going to be 511. These are OD, for you that don't know, that's olive drab, and they are the 511 competition gloves. All right, and they fit well. I do like the fact that this area right in here is reinforced with leather. The palm is all leather and it has breathable holes. So during the hot, humid summer months here in New England, they're good to go. Of course, it is a size small. It's got plenty of area in the knuckles for expansion. Little grippies. I've been using these for a while. Haven't really worn out. I haven't had to do any really too many repairs to them. Overall, I do like these. I think they're pretty good. Not my favorite, but I do like them, and they are part of my kit. Because depending on what I'm wearing or the mood I'm in will really depend on what gloves I'm wearing. It really depends also what I'm doing. So the 511 gloves. You know what? You can find these right on Amazon. Link will be down below. Now, if you're not into all the fabrics and you're looking for something more toward the leather end, that is not total leather like the first pair, These from HWI, they are called just the combat glove. They are nice. I got these over the winter and they are actually pretty warm. They do offer them in black or brown. The whole palm is leather. There is padding here and padding across the knuckles to help protect it. Right here between the thumb and your index finger is reinforced with an extra strip of leather. They are very tight when you first get them, especially going down in a size, just so you have that dexterity and you don't have all that extra glove all over the place, which I do not like when your fingers fold over. I like them to feel almost like a second pair of skin. These are good. I use these extensively over the winter, and they've done a good job and they've held up. You don't need to use any oils or anything on the leather that I know of. They are good to go as is. I do like them though because they are leather. If you don't wear them a lot, trying to move your hand around and manipulate things could get tiring. One thing I don't like, because they are not super worn in, is when you're gripping something, they're good, but when I open my hand, this whole area right here is nothing but air. All right, and it tends to become a workout on my fingers, trying to open my hand and do things. Obviously, the more you wear them, the more you wear them in, and this tends to go away. But for the winter, these did a phenomenal job for me. They are not insulated. They are not winter gloves by any means, but it was just enough protection to keep my hands warm so I could train and do other things in the snow. The next set, and it's probably hands down one of my favorite set of gloves currently. I've been trying to get them for a long time. The problem is they're never in stock, and as soon as they are in stock, they sell out. And they would be the Outdoor Research Iron Sight sensor gloves. They've got the little Velcro thing. It is a little bit long. I do just line it up instead of cranking it all the way over. I'm not a big fan of things that dangle. It's got a nice big pull strap. And yes, these were size small, but since I've been wearing them a lot, the first time I tried to put them on, they were a real pain in the rear to get on. Definitely a lot of wiggling to get my hand in there, and now my hand just kind of slips right in, right around the wrist, nice and tight. It does have these nice rubberized grips on them, though I've seen that the rubber, the dark rubber here, the texturized part, does wear out over time. Your thumb and your index finger for the trigger are reinforced on both gloves with leather. The fingertips themselves on your other three fingers here do have that rubber coating to help you touch things and pull things. These do work on cell phones. It does have little rubber pieces that poke out like a ridge to protect your trigger finger. Your other three fingers do not have them, but they do have them that run across the back of your hand that don't offer like hard protection, but it's enough to where if you bump it, it's not gonna tear up the fabric or anything. It's all made out with leather. Nice, real good set of gloves that I was trying to get. They are not in stock. I ordered them and they won't be, so we're looking at, we're in early June. They're not estimated to ship to like mid-July if they come to be in stock, and they've been out of stock for like 6 months. So there you go. Outdoor Research, you can find these online. You can get them at Outdoor Research, so on and so forth. I'll have a couple links for them down below if you're interested in them. Now, for those that are a little more hardcore, I couldn't find the pair that I normally have with me. They're black. I think they're somewhere in my truck. The pair I'm going to show you have basically gone from something that I carried and used at the range to more of just an outdoor glove. They did not have the size that I wanted, so I went one size up to a medium, and these are nothing super spectacular. I think I got these at the local Army Navy store, and they are your stereotypical hard knuckle gloves. So they definitely protect the knuckle. Good for if you're gonna strike something. Again, they're not designed for that hard strike. It's more for the scraping of the knuckles. You can see these knuckles are a bit chewed up from getting dragged around, but now you can see these are mediums, so you can see how the thumb, we got all that extra fabric in there. Same with this and here, there, like that. That's just all empty space, because my finger, since it's been broken, you know, hooks. I call it the creepy finger. And there's extra fabric up here. So for me, using something like this while trying to shoot, I could kind of do it. I don't like to do it because there's so much extra fabric in here trying to get it inside that trigger well. Sometimes that fabric gets caught, folds over, and I just don't feel like I can do good weapon manipulation with it, just because it's all loose and the whole thing does shift over time. No matter how much you cinch down that wrist, this whole hand part will shift on you. So, you know, if you're grabbing something and pulling, now all of a sudden all that fabric's there, and of course all the rubberized grip that's here is all completely worn off. Like I said, we've turned these pretty much into gloves we use for yard work. We've got a couple of pairs of these that have just become yard work gloves for doing, you know, raking and weed whacking and things like that. All the other gloves I showed you outside the mechanic, or outside of the Milwaukee gloves and the sheepskin gloves, those of course are for yard work and whatnot, but all the other ones are pretty much relegated to my range bag or my EDC bag. And depending on which ones I use a lot of, I haven't used these in quite a while, but if you use, say you only get one pair and you're using them a lot, and every time you shoot you're using them, which is good. You got to train with them if you have them, because shooting barehanded versus wearing gloves is a bit different, and there is going to be a learning curve. These are going to get peppered with lead dust, so it's smart to wash these. All right, don't put them in with regular laundry. Wash them separately. Wash them with your range clothes, so on and so forth. I'll wash mine with like my work uniforms and all that. Washing them though, they do wear out, so these are not designed to be like, oh, I bought one pair and I'm good for the next 10 years. I go through a lot of gloves because I use them and I wear the fingers out, so on and so forth, and I don't want that. I don't want to have the little fingerless gloves. I want to cover my entire hand and all my fingers protected while I'm doing training and shooting and things like that. Some of the gloves are not good if you're running a suppressor and you're trying to utilize that glove to take the suppressor off, because some of the rubber will melt. Cans do get extremely hot, so there are specialized gloves for that. Or you just do what I recommend, and I tell everybody, oh cool, you're running a can, great, perfect, get a barrel shroud for it so you can take it off, put it on, do whatever when it's warm. The biggest thing I run into, I tell people, after so many rounds, just make sure it's on there tight. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people pull a trigger and I watch their can pop off and fly out past the benches, and right in the front there is a stream that runs through, and there's lots of tall weeds and everything, and their can goes straight down into the water. Obviously, we only, do a ceasefire every half hour. So now their can's sitting down there, and they're going to have a small window to run down deep into the weeds and hopefully not get attacked by ticks and all the other critters that run down, like snapping turtles, and try and fish around for the can. So I've seen some people actually bring like almost what they use for magnet fishing to try and get their cans back up. I've seen people lose their can down there and come back after hours when the range is closed and out there for a couple of hours looking for their cans. If you can't find it, hey, you got to tell the ATF you can't find it and all that. That's just a whole new can of worms. So make sure you get the right gloves for the right job. If you're doing just, run-of-the-mill shooting, some tactical gloves, great. Make sure your gloves are nice and tight to your hand. Like I said, I like to go a size smaller, so as I wear them in, they start to fit like a glove. There's the pun. Versus the other gloves that, when you buy them, they fit great, but over time, as you use them, they start to become way too loose on your hands. And for me, I don't like trying to get my finger into the trigger with a big glove and all that extra material flopping around. I feel like it's not as safe. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's nothing super spectacular, not a lot of, well, there is no running, gunning, and shooting type things, but I think it's important. At the range, I see a lot of people wearing gloves for the protection from lead and other things. And that being said, guys, here's my PSA. Alright? Let me grab one of these gloves. If you're wearing gloves and you're shooting a lot at the range, okay, I shouldn't have to say this. Say I'm wearing these gloves and I do a lot of shooting, right? Bang, 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 great, that's cool. Oh, but I need to do something, I need to touch my phone, whatever, and I want to take them off. Don't do that. Don't start biting them and pulling them off. Pull the gloves off finger by finger and take them off, and don't put them in your mouth. They're covered in lead. These are washed, they're clean. I haven't used them since. Alright, don't put them in your mouth. If you're using them, you're training and you're shooting, they're covered in lead. Don't rub your eyes with them, none of that stuff. Alright, I know for me, when I'm not wearing gloves and I'm touching the gun that's dirty, if I have to pull it apart for any reason, or touching other things, and you start to get the metallic color on your skin, that's not good for you. Don't be putting that in your body. Alright? There you go. I shouldn't have to say that, but some people just don't think about it and start like, well, I don't want to touch my face with my bare hands, but I got gloves on, and they start touching everything. That's not good. Alright? So in the description below, all the links for gloves that I use. You need a pair, take a look at them. If not, that's cool. Let me know what you guys wear. Let me know if there's another brand out there you guys prefer. I'm always open to suggestions, just because I'm like, oh, these are good, or you never know. Let me know in the comments below. Other than that, you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. And now I get to go read all about Connecticut's new gun laws that are going into effect, because there's a lot of changes, especially when it comes to others and how they did the pre-bans, and now we have to get assault weapon registrations through our DESP, the Department of Emergency Services, so on and so forth. Even though with the ATF, you guys know, I formed one of my guns, and now I have to register them with the state because they passed this new law. And as soon as the governor signs it, that day it's enacted. And I have a small window to get those done. Now, they did make carve-outs for those that did their Form 1s, as in I don't have to do much paperwork. I can bring my Form 1 down. They'll use that to give me a temporary assault weapons certificate, or whatever it's called, until the ATF comes back and approves that Form 1, and then the state will do whatever the state needs to do, and I'll be good to go. just more hurdles for us to overcome, a bunch of things that the law-abiding citizen has to do in order to exercise their God-given right. I don't know. I don't want to say it's not fair. It's not. I know the Saturday night when the Senate hearing was going on, or Friday night. I get my days all mixed up. It was Friday night because one of my friends tagged me in it. I was watching it till about midnight 30 before I gave up. It went on till like 4 something in the morning. One of the senators for the state stood up and he started spouting out statistics. Did you know in the state of Connecticut, out of all the gun crime that is committed, only 24% of them are convicted or even charged? The other 76% are either pleaded down or not charged. If you commit a crime with a gun, you should be charged accordingly. That would make sense. And with the new gun laws coming into effect, to curb gun violence, you would think that they would make provisions that if you commit a crime with a gun, you'll be charged. That's not how it works. In fact, they tried to make an amendment for that, and it was shot down across party lines. 24 voted against adding the amendment to ensure gun crimes were charged, while the other 12, which happened to be, as you guessed it, the Republicans, they voted in favor of it. But in the end, the bill made it through anyways because we're so outnumbered in this state. Except for one Republican who broke with the party line, and he voted for it. Huang, that's not kosher, my guy. You're supposed to stand up for our rights, not sell us out. But enough about that. If you guys want more information on it, I can do a whole nother video with all the I think there's one amendment that got added. And if you need me to dive deep into it some more, let me know in the comments below. I can do another video on that. I've got resources with some of the legislators, some lawyers, and of course FFLs across the state that can help make sense of it all. So if you guys have a specific question, let me know and I'll do my best to get you an answer for it. Alright, enough about that. Go enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you guys later.